Yo, these are Spoit 2025 updated settings here for you guys. We're gonna go through it all, bro. We're gonna go through display settings, in-game settings. We're gonna go through the monitor settings, keyboard settings, mouse settings, everything. I'm gonna cover everything today. So if you have any questions, just watch this. Starting off with the general settings here. We got display performance metrics. Nothing like that important. I have it binded to a key so I can just press it on my keyboard and you can see it just swaps. Stun, VFX. I actually have it on dark glare instead of the default one, the white glare, because like when I get flashbanged in game, I don't want to get flashbanged IRL too. You see what I'm saying? Keep that on dark glare. Cycle inside camera groups. I just find it easier to like navigate through cameras. When you're in defense and you're calling out for your teammate and you gotta swap cameras, if you gotta swap between two cameras and you're the only guy to watch cams, you gotta have it, make it easy for yourself. And with this option on, it helps it. It is in my opinion, because then you got Q and E and you got 1 and 3 to work with. So visible throw trajectory. Listen, if you don't have this on, you are trolling. Do you guys understand? Visible throw trajectory literally gives you guys free nitro cells, bro. I'm not even kidding, bro. It gives you free kills, bro, with the nitro. I would tell anyone playing the game and is new to the game, make sure you guys got this option on right here. Next up, drone after prep. So whenever the prep phase is done, I don't want to, hop off the cam immediately. If I see someone spawn peeking, I call out for my teammate. I want to get off the camera myself. And with the manual, it helps it. So I control everything by myself. Match replay on. This is just for all the games that you played. It's going to be saved. You want to watch it back. If you don't really care about it, turn it off, bro, and you can save maybe some FPS or whatever. Text chat channel, we got it set to all because I like to, trash talk a little bit, so you gotta have it on. You guys are toxic, bro. You guys know, bro. You gotta have it on set to all if you want to trash talk, but don't say too, it's gonna get yourself banned, bro. Next up, crossplay communication, matchmaking. Just keep those on. All right, next up, we got HUD. I have it set to customs, but if you want to get the exact same shit that I have, just make sure you put everything on normal, and then you scroll down a little bit. I have the health off. I don't usually like it on because when you're low HP, it blinks red. It's annoying. I don't care about it, so I just turn it off. But if you feel like it's an issue, you can have it on number only if you want to make it just slightly cleaner. Oh, that inputs. This one I also turn it off because I already know what keys to press whenever I use my gadgets and all that shit. General reminders, I take that one off as well. It's basically like your prone key and your set key, the default ones in game. If you don't care about like all that shit, if you want to make your game cleaner, just turn it off. Everything else is just on, apart from bans. Take that shit off because I don't care who's getting banned. None of my business. Versus updates, I like to have this off as well because like whenever someone kills someone in ranked, it's gonna show up on screen 5v4. It's just annoying, so I have it off. Operator guides, I have this off as well because I already know how all the operators work. I've been playing this game for like 10 years, so like doesn't really matter. Moving on, we got the audio settings. English, gotta keep it on English, of course, because that's the language I speak, right? But the most important setting in the audio tab is going to be this right here. Dynamic range, guys. Dynamic range. We got night mode, TV, and hi-fi. The two ones that I would recommend are hi-fi and night mode. If I see you using TV, you are trolling, all right? Basically, what it means is hi-fi gives you the best sound. I feel like hi-fi gives you the best sound, but the issue with hi-fi is when you shoot your gun or throw a nade, everything is gonna be as loud. That's the issue. When you go on night mode, what I use is the loud explosions will be turned down, but the low sounds, like someone walking around, sneaking around, those will be louder. So it kind of like balances out a bit more. That's why I run night mode personally. Master volume, if you like game audio, very loud, very low. Personal preference, it's up to you. Music fully turned off, don't really care about that. In-game music and menu, so both of these off. Everything else gets pretty much left on default. I haven't touched anything crazy. I mean, this is the voice chat, so if you want to play around with that, you can do that. This is also your voice chat input volume. It's basically how loud you're gonna be for your teammates, so I found it perfect at 80 for my microphone personally, but you can play around with your own microphone. That's kind of the main things to look at in the audio tab. I don't have these settings. Are you on console maybe? That's probably why. Moving on to the display settings. At the top here, you can always flex whenever you show your display settings. You can see the little GPU up there, 4080 Super, looking good, juicy and shit. Obviously, you're gonna pick the main monitor that's right in front of you. So I am currently running at 360 Hertz. This monitor is capable of running 540 Hertz, but Siege right now does not allow that to happen because they gotta update it, make it actually work. Please, Ubisoft, fix that. Aspect ratio. This is probably the most sought after question asked, I think, across my whole time playing this game, bro. Everyone's asking, oh, Spoit, what do you play? What do you play? You play 4x3, 16:10, 16:9. What do you play? What do you play? 16:10 is what I'm playing right now. My top 3 aspirations for anyone to get into the game, I would say, is 4x3, 3:2, and 16:10. Those 3, I feel like, are the best resolutions, in my opinion, from playing the game for 10 years. 16:9 is good, but 16:10, 3:2, 4:3, that's where it's at. The ACOGs are good. The holosites are good. The enemies appear thicker. What is it to complain about type shit? You know what I mean? VSync. Make sure you got VSync off. Anything with the name sync, I want you guys to take that shit off. You guys hear me? I don't want to see you guys running no synced shit, because that is going to add a lot of delay, input lag, and overall just worse for your game, okay? So don't use anything called sync. FPS limit as well. I would not recommend using this FPS limit as it causes more input delay. Instead, what you should do is you go into your actual game folder right here, My Games, Rainbow Six Siege, and you press in your account. This is the best way of doing it. So for example, you go here and you have FPS limit. You put in like 150 instead, and then you save it. This is going to be way better for your FPS rather than doing it in game, because if you do it this way, at least you're not going to get any input lag. But if you do it the other way, input lag, like I said. Widescreen letterbox. I see people asking me all the time, yo Willie, can you try widescreen letterbox? I'm like, hell no, bro, hell no. I'm not using that shit. That's a troll. Keep that off. Field of view. No, this is a big one. I personally like 87. I would kind of say I'm low-key an inventor of the 87. I'm low-key an inventor. With 87 being my field of view, you know, it's all personal preference at the end of the day. Same with aspiration, bro. You can play anything, bro. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like is more comfortable for you, run that. It's the same with field of view, bro. If you feel like 60 is the play, you could run 60. But I would say, personally, do not run anything below 75. 75 should be the lowest you should ever play. To be honest, there's a reason why everyone's playing 84 and 90 as well. You know, you have Shaiko, all the pros playing 90, like... Try and find something in between those. That's gonna make you the best, trust. Personally, 87 is my sweet spot. All right, next up we got display area. This is basically how close the HUD is gonna be. Like how, I mean, you guys can see here. This is a pretty explanatory. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. 80 is what I run right now. I like to have everything more cramped in, so I don't have to like look too far away on the monitors. I can just see everything in my peripheral view. And then you got menu display area. I have it set to 89. You can have it on 100 if you want. You see the difference here. The reason I don't do 90 is because the operators usually they start glitching around here when I do 89. It's funny because now it's not happening. Let's leave it at 90. We got graphics. So this is what you do on the graphics, guys. This is the only trusted source right here. Set everything to low. The first thing you do, set everything to low. Shadow, medium. Shadow, medium is all you need to do so far. And then you scroll down until you see this right here. Anti-aliasing, off. Boom. Everything else, just leave it as it is. You don't have to change anything. These are Pro League ready graphic settings right here, guys. And obviously, if you don't get enough FPS, you can use TAA and play around with this. But at that point, like, you're not going to be able to see a lot in game because of the blurriness. So moving on to controls. Drone speed boost. This is a new feature right here. But make sure you guys got that shit on hold. Don't want to have it on toggle. Personally, like it on hold. So you can just let go of your key as soon as you don't want the boost anymore. I have raw input on as well. Someone told me that if you run 2000 hertz on your mouse, or if you run anything above 1000 hertz on your mouse, you should have it on. And I kind of just trusted him ever since, so I just stuck with it. Mouse look inversion. If you have this enabled, I don't even know how you play the game, because in order to compensate for recoil, you gotta pull up. So hey, yeah, don't use mouse look inversion. Now we're up to the big questions here. We got mouse sensitivity, horizontal and vertical sensitivity. Dude, I'm currently running 52 with 37 and 68 as my two main ones. You guys can copy everything here if you guys want to have the same sensitivity as me. With controls and like sense and all that stuff, you know, it's all personal preference. When it comes to settings in general, like you have an idea of what you want to run between what numbers you want to be in between. Most of the time it's just personal preference. But 52, the reason it's so high for you guys is because I have a multiplier. Multiplier is basically, for example, if I want to have a sensitivity between 9 and 10, I can do like 9.5 or 9.25 or 9.3, 9.7. I can do that, but I have to use a multiplier. In my case, I do have a multiplier, and I'm pretty sure this should be 10.4. Yeah, this is basically 10.4 in hipfire on foreign DPI and normal multiplier. I'm gonna show you guys also how to change your multiplier here real quick. So going to the desktop, go to documents and then my games, hit Rainbow Six Siege, and then open up your main account like this. Go into the games file. You want to scroll down until you find this right here, mouse sensitivity multiplier unit. There's gonna be two of those, but make sure you don't change the one with the ADS. There's two different ones. So you have ADS gamepad multiplier unit. This one I leave at default. I don't even touch the ADS one. I only touch the hipfire one. I have it changed. So the default one is 0.02. I've changed it to 0.001. And that's because I have a 1600 DPI as well, which a lot of people don't know. I'm playing 1600 DPI, so it's very fast. So right here, if you go to my mouse settings, you guys can see here on the left side, 1600 DPI. Calculated it, and with this right multiplier, I get the perfect sense. 52. That's what I'm rocking with right now. And then we got mouse scroll. I do like to switch my guns with the scroll wheel sometimes, even like using my gadgets and all that stuff. I have it on personally, but for consistency reasons, if you misclick it a lot, I will turn it off and disable it, and then just use like your number 4 key. What's the advantage of a multiplier? It's just if you want to go have a sense between like 9 and 10, so you can do like 9.5 9.3, 9.6. Moving on, we got gadget deployment. Make sure you guys have all of these set to advanced. You don't want to have it on standard. Make sure you have it on advanced. Gadget one is basically if you place down a Jaeger device, you can still cancel the animation 50% in of doing the animation. But if you have it set to standard, then when you place the ADS, you gotta wait for the ADS to fully place, you know? Reinforcing a wall. If your team is like, oh, don't reinforce that, you're still gonna reinforce the wall if it's set to standard. On advanced, you can cancel it. This is the number one thing. Have drone deployment on advanced, because if you have it set to standard and you throw a drone, you're always gonna hop on the drone. If you have it on advanced, you throw a drone, you have to manually hop on the cam, so you can bait people. You can throw a drone at them and then you just bait it. So that's why you should have it on advanced. The more mechanics heavy stuff, we're starting off here with aim. I have it set to hold. I don't think you should have aim set to toggle. The reason I will tell you guys to use this on hold, because when you gotta hold down the button to ADS. If you have it set to toggle, you can just press the button like that and you're gonna be ADSing the whole time. If you want to play fast, having it to set to hold is way better, but in general I think hold is also better. Lean, this is a pretty tough one. I'm pretty sure like I'm like one of the 3 only pro players right now in the league that's using hold lean. It used to be really good back in the days, that's why I'm using it right now as well, but I just haven't bothered changing it. And obviously there's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve getting used to toggle again. But I do feel like toggle right now in this meta and how people play the game, it's gonna favor you a lot, because you can sit and hold an angle for the longest time and not get tired having to hold down the key and, you know, do all that bullshit. So have it set to toggle, I would say, is the best option for majority of players, but me specifically use hold. You can try it out and see what works best for you. We got sprint. These are all defaults. I haven't changed it. I just have it to hold because I don't want to press my key and then sprint forever and then, you know, press the key again. I just want to have it on hold. It's just better. Crouch as well. This is something not a lot of people have on hold as well. The reason I have it on hold is because back in the day, there used to be a crazy mechanic where you could just spam the crouch key and your operator would like go up and down super quick, and you wouldn't be able to like hit him. That's why I had it set to hold at the time. But then again, same thing with the lean. I haven't changed it and I feel like I play good anyway on it, so I just stuck to hold. Prone is default. I have it set to toggle. It's the default thingy, so I just leave it as it is. And then walk, I have it to hold. I think walk should be on hold. I think that's default. Should be default. I just have to hold down the key whenever I slow walking, you know, if I want to lurk on someone really quick or I need to hear or sound fast or whatever. But then we got the controller settings. I don't really play controller that much, so these are very like not very important, I feel like. If you guys want to have a look anyway, these are the settings I use. I turn off the vibration. Trigger effect, I got it disabled. Gadget deployment, same thing here. Advanced, leaning behavior alternate. This is my sensitivity, 35, 65. 5 on the dead zone, on the left stick dead zone, and then 0 on the trigger dead zone. These are my ADSs. And then we've got
love watching you, Kit. Maybe you can meow for me.
Maybe you can meow for me. There's customized controls as well. So the only thing that I've personally changed, I can show you guys right now. So if I set it to default, what I've changed here is I've changed my crouch. I actually have crouch set to control, so you see here. And then I have prone set to C. So I've swapped the two of them. Where you guys normally crouch is where I prone. And where you guys usually prone is where I crouch. That's what I have. And then walk key is usually alt. That's the default for a lot of people. I have it still set to alt, but I also set it to my mouse key, to my mouse button. The side button, like this button right here, top one. I have it set to that, so I can just press it if I need to go very slow. The next thing I've changed is secondary gadget. Secondary gadget, like putting barbed wire down, throwing impact on like Asami and stuff. I have this changed to my other mouse button, mouse 4. So that's gonna be my back button right here. So we got the back button right here is for like throwing impact, and the front button right here is for slow walking. So that's everything I have on my controls. That's the only things I've changed. And next up, we got privacy. You can put any streamer mode name on PC, on console. I know you guys don't have this, but Ubisoft, you guys gotta add that to the console people because there's a lot of streamers out there. Willy Charm. Make sure you guys get the Willy Charm, the Spoit Charm. Nickname is invalid. What? If you want to hide your nickname, you can put it on like this so people don't know what actually you name yourself to. You can hide your avatar so it doesn't show up here anymore. You can see here, it hides it. You can rename everyone in the lobby. So they're going to be called like Bravo, like Jack, I don't know, like Iron Man, maybe. These settings specifically are for more people that stream as well. So like if you're a normal player, this doesn't really matter that much because this is more to like hide from stream snipers and stuff. You can play around with these. This is probably the biggest thing for streamers. Like you want to hide what server you're using. Otherwise it will show up here, you see? So if I turn it off and I press my settings, it says EU West. So if you just want to hide away from other people, boom. Now they don't know what server you're queuing, even if you're streaming and showing your settings. This is only for PC as of right now. So now moving on to the accessibility ones. There's some tweaks we can do in here for sure. We got optic colors. Right now I'm on the white era. I'm running the white optic color. I do like the light blue as well. But right now white is very nice. So, and I feel like it doesn't really blend in with a lot of things. Unless I peak like the skylight on cafe. If I peak up the skylight, that's the only time like I've had issues with white. Otherwise it's been fine. But yeah, you can run purple. Like that's never gonna blend in with anything. There's a lot of good options here for you guys to use. Screen shake. Make sure you guys turn this off, man. If this is on, no good. Just turn it off. Trust me. We got motion blur next up as well. This is something I've had a lot of people ask me about as well. Should I have motion blur on or off? It's basically when someone shoots you, your screen's gonna like blur up a little bit. If you turn it off, that's not gonna happen. But it's also gonna be a lot of blood on your screen, like red in the corners and stuff. And I personally don't mind that, so I have it set to off. I don't really mind. Here we got the stun VFX option again. I have it on dark layer because I don't want to get flashed IRL. So the team colors, you can pick whatever you want. I just keep it default. It's set to blue and red. Like my team is blue and the enemies are red. There is actually a little benefit to swapping them, and I'm gonna tell you why. If my team are red and the enemies are blue and they put a claymore, sometimes when you walk up a red staircase, for example, and the enemy team is blue, that means the laser on the claymore as well is gonna be blue. So that's like a little cheat code that you guys can use as well. So just a little tip there. But usually I always look for the claymores anyway, so I don't usually die to them. Other than that, I have everything set to default. The chat scale, I turn it down to 90 instead of 100. 100 is default because I don't want it to be like too big on the screen. So also for brightness, 60 is my new. I used to be on 70. I went down to 60. That's everything for my in-game settings, I'm pretty sure. Let's now move on to the display settings. If you go on my desktop right here, let's actually go with the Nvidia control panel first. What you do is you gotta right click on your screen, show more options, and open up the Nvidia control panel. Going to the top here, the settings I personally run, I don't know if these are the best settings, but for me, I get the most frames with these settings. So first off, we got the adjust image settings with preview on the top left on the 3D settings. Make sure you guys go to the bottom one here and pick performance over quality. It's gonna say quality on default, but make sure you go over to performance. You want to apply that after, and then you can hit this button here, boom, take me there, and it's gonna put you down to the second one. So these are gonna be more important right here. So you can pick between program settings and global. Of course, global is the one you want to go with here. So these are the things I use right here, so you guys can just copy me if you guys want to do it. Boom, boom, boom. These are the settings I use personally. Same thing here. Make sure you guys got sync off. That shit is terrible. I got shader cache on disabled. This one actually, I don't even know. Like sometimes I have disabled, sometimes unlimited. Like I don't even know. I just leave it at disabled right now. Sometimes I have it unlimited. You guys can try. See what fits better for you guys. Next up, this is probably a big one as well. Low latency mode. I have it set to on and not the ultra one. Same thing here. I barely notice a change. I keep it on. If you have a very bad PC, you can try putting it on ultra and see if it helps you. I would personally say keep it on or plus ultra. So yeah, that's everything for the 3D settings. Next up, we got configure surround and PhysX. You pick your GPU here and not your CPU. So then you apply that. And then you go to the display settings. A lot of people are going to have this on their monitor, like the Ultra HD thingy, but there's going to be like 3 of these options. You want to scroll down until you find the PC ones. And then you want to pick the highest resolution that you have. And then you want to go with the highest refresh rate. In this case, I'm going to go with 360 because Siege doesn't support 540 or 500. That's why I'm leaving it at 360. As soon as Siege updates that feature so I can do 540, I'm going to change it. But for now, 360. And then you just want to apply that, hit yes, go down to the next one. Here, you can play around with the digital vibrance. I know this is gonna make your game a bit more colorful or less colorful. And a lot of people use the Nvidia filters in Shadowplay. So if that's something you know about, don't use that shit. That's bullshit. Don't use that at all. Just go here instead and just change it like this if you wanna have more colors. I've left it at default because I can just do it on my monitor. So like I can just press on my monitor and I can just, color vibrance up. So yeah. So next up, we got rotate display. Nothing interesting here. No, nothing interesting here. Nothing interesting here. And then we got adjust desktop size and position. So you want to pick your main monitor. So this is my main monitor on the left side. I have it set to no scaling and display. If you play CSGO and other games, make sure you have it set to full screen and GPU so you can so it actually stretches on the monitor. Because if you don't have full screen on and you do no scaling, you're gonna have black bars. So if you have black bars in a game, just go full screen here and it should be fine. Same thing here. Make sure you have the highest refresh rate. Siege only supports 360, so we're gonna go with 360. And then you just want to apply that. Set up multiple displays. In my case, I got my monitor right there. So you just gotta match the way I have it here. So boom, like that. And then you just apply. And then adjust video color settings. So it's gonna be locked. You can't move these, but you want to go with Nvidia settings and then hit advanced. And make sure you guys go with full 0 to 255. And then you apply that. So you get all the colors that you want. So, and that's pretty much it for the control panel. So, I don't think there's anything in the display settings here that there's interesting to... Yeah, I don't think there's anything interesting in here. Nah. Make sure you guys type game and mode on your PC. You want to hit that and make sure it's set to on right here. You don't want to have it off. You want to have it set to on. Moving on, we got my mouse settings. Boom, right here. So, as you guys can see, Razer Viper V3 Pro. This is actually not the mouse that I'm using. I'm using this mouse. That's ZA13 by Zowie. But what I've done is, this mouse has the same specs as this mouse on the screen, but it's inside of my in my own shell or whatever. You just want to hit performance. I have my mouse settings set to 1600 DPI. That's what I feel comfortable with. 800 should be the lowest you play. These days I see a lot of people play 400. I think that's kind of outdated, bro, but like 800 is gonna be like the minimum you want to play with. In my opinion, because of like latency and all that stuff. So the higher DPI, the faster your mouse is gonna respond, but it's obviously gonna be very, you know, very small. On high refresh rate monitors like mine, like 360, you're gonna notice a slight bit. Polling rate, I have the polling rate set to 2000. If you have a very good PC, you could try 4000, play around, but I never want to see no bullshit of someone playing 8000. All right, you don't need to play 8000, whatever, for 8000. Okay, you don't need it. You just don't need it. 4000 or 2000, those are the ones you want to. If you don't have those available, you know, use 1000, which is going to be the highest. But I don't want to see nobody play 8000 because that's gonna make your CPU work more. You're gonna get less FPS. You don't need that shit. All right, moving on to the power stuff. This is kind of like just nothing interesting at all. Calibration on the Viper V3 specifically, on the sensor, like how sensitive it is. When I lift it, I can still use it. So if I have it set to low and I lift it, I can not use my mouse at all. If I have it set to high, I can still use my mouse on the how do I show this? I gotta touch my hand in order to move my cursor. If I lift it, the second I lift it, it doesn't work. But if I have it set to high, for example, I'm not even touching my hand and it's still moving around. You see what I'm saying? You can just try it out as well. I have it set to high or medium. Those are the ones I personally like. I actually have it set to this specific one right here, 21 and 20. This is what I personally run right now and it feels good. So you can try it out for yourself. It's just lift off distance. Just play around with it yourself. And that's pretty much it for my mouse settings. When it comes to your mouse settings, make sure you want to hit your Windows key, search mouse. You press the mouse settings. Then you go here until you find the additional mouse settings. So this little pop-out shows up right here. And then you want to go to the pointer options. Make sure this is set to the sixth step. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you hit apply. Also, when it comes to the mouse settings, make sure this box is not ticked. All right, so make sure that's off and then hit apply. Okay, that's what you want to do with your mouse settings. A lot of people ask me as well how I got this cursor, so you guys can see it's like a cross and it's not like the usual one. I changed it in here. So what I did was I pressed the top one right here. I press browse, and then all I gotta do is just type cross, and you can just pick any of these crosses right here. I just picked like the RM one, for example. I press open and I hit apply, and then you can have the same one as me. So if you want to go back to the default one, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can just press here, use default. If you want to use something else, like a cross like me, you can just do it that way. So let's go back to the cross. Boom, RM, open, apply. So I think that should be everything for the mouse settings. I haven't done any other tweaks. I know you can do some other tweaks in the device manager when it comes to your mouse settings. This is more like, these are settings more for nerds. So like, but you got to be careful you don't anything up when you go into these device manager. What you could do and play around with is see if your system responds well to it. Might even get lower latency. If you go here to the system devices and you find the high precision event timer, you can disable this one by like just disabling like this. I have it disabled on this PC because they do it at the LAN PCs as well. So I just have it to like match it. But that's everything I've done in the device managers. So just gonna leave it at that. All right, so moving on to my keyboard settings right here, Utility.io. I'm using a Wooting keyboard. Shout out to Wooting. I love this keyboard. It's great. My profile is right here. So I'm gonna also, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link my specific profile in the YouTube description below. But I'm also gonna walk you guys through my settings. So heading over to quick settings on the left side. We got quick settings right here. What I've done is I've select all keys and I have rapid trigger on. All right, so I got rapid trigger on. Make sure you got that on, and I have it set to the highest. Okay, then you just want to hit save to keyboard, and also the talk-in mode. I have this on, the fastest response time. You want to have that on, and then actuation point. This is how fast or how sensitive your keyboard is gonna be when you press a key. So if you have it set to the lowest, it's gonna be very sensitive. And you barely gotta touch your key for the key to activate on this keyboard. If it's too sensitive for you, you can, you know, go up to like 1 millimeter, and this takes some time, so you just gotta get used to it and just play around and see what is better for you. Moving on to the actuation point, these are the ones I use right here. So on the F key, for example, when I diffuse, I don't want it to like accidentally slip, so I have it set to 2, so it's a bit slower. And then same for this key. This key specifically is just my keybind to mute in TeamSpeak and Discord. Yeah, it's basically so you don't do a miss input, pretty much. Yeah, that's why I have it set to 2 instead of 0.1. Moving on to the rapid trigger here, you want to have it on all the keys. You can put it on the keys that you use specifically, like WASD, QE, and that should be fine. I'm lazy, so I set it to all the keys. I know some people struggle with typing. Personally, I haven't had any issues with it. I got used to it, like I said, so it doesn't really matter. But make sure you guys got the continuous rapid trigger on as well on the right side. So select all keys and make sure these are on. Boom, like that. And then save the keyboard. Boom, just like that. Perfect. RGB settings. Because you got the tachyon mode enabled, you cannot play around with some of the more crazy waves and stuff and like cool animations. And that's because the tachyon mode is enabled, like I said here. If I take it off and then go back to RGB settings, you see I'll have like cool, like where I can do cool wave stuff. But you know, I'm an FPS gamer, I'm a competitor. I don't really care about that stuff, so I just leave it like it is. Remap is basically like, so you have the main layer is, so when you press Q, it's gonna press on Q, blah blah blah. But the second layer here is more like stuff like if you want to pause the song, if you want to like skip song, if you want to pause volume up and down, this is what's gonna do it for you. So you need another layer, so you can just add another layer like this. I'm gonna delete. Can I delete this and show you? I don't think so. But if there's no layer for you guys here, just add another layer and then you can just pick this one specifically, and then you save the keyboard. Boom. And then we got advanced keys. See, these are some good things right here. Advanced keys are very important, especially in CS. So you got the rapid snappy, the snappy tappy, dynamic keystrokes, mod tap, toggle key. You got all of these, but what I use is this one right here, snappy tappy. I'm personally using SOCD. I know it's not allowed in CSGO and stuff, but in Siege it's allowed and in Valorant it's allowed. But I have it set to A and D and Q and E. You should not have it set to Q and E if you're using toggle lean, because that's gonna make you not be able to lean as fast. But if you use hold lean and you use snappy tappy on Q and E, you're gonna actually be able to quick peek faster. But that's only on hold lean. If you have hold, you can do the same as me. If I delete these here real quick, all you have to do is just press snappy tappy. You press the 2 keys that you want, continue. I have this option on, alternate fully pressed behavior. I have this on, boom. And then I add it again on these 2, continue, and then just done. That's all I do. And then save the keyboard. That's all I do. Those are my settings for my keyboard. The gamepad settings, I just have this off. Don't really care about that stuff. This is more for like if you actually want to play like GTA and stuff. Like this will make it easier to drive in cars and stuff. So I don't touch any of this stuff personally. Next up, we got my monitor settings. So let's see what I got right here. I'm using a Zowie monitor, so what I run is let's see, so starting off with the mode, I have gamer 1, black equalizer to 15, color vibrance 10, low blue light off, gamma 3, and color temperature on normal. On picture settings, I have the diax set to premium, brightness 100, contrast 60, sharpness 10, AMA set to premium. And that's pretty much everything from my monitor settings. Everything else is just default. So those are the only settings that I've changed. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. DMA settings. Yeah, I didn't go through the DMA settings. Google search history. That's pretty much everything for the settings here. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the settings down below. Also comment down below your settings. You know, is there any tips or tricks you guys have that I should be running? Maybe I'm missing out on something. Let me down below. Jerk mate settings.